day 2 of the bench. And funny enough, it's the exact same thing that we did yesterday. You know, it's gonna be a little bit boring, you know what I mean? For like the first, but like this first week and also next week as well. Because as I stated yesterday, it's a muscle endurance, like a small little muscle endurance block. You know, think of when you would do track, you know, or swimming, and it's less about, you know, the type of training that you usually would do, you know what I mean, and more about just getting back into the swing of things, you know, like every single time when I was a competitive swimmer, when we would have our breaks, you know, after the season, you know what I mean, like a month or two, and we come back, you know, it's not like we would immediately start working on our technique and events and shit like that. No, we would have like a 2-week block where it's just kind of like everybody's doing the same sets, you know, the distance swimmers are doing the same shit as the IMers, and they're doing the same shit as the sprinters, and they're more of just like, you know, cardio sets, you know what I mean, just to get the muscle endurance back, you know, get a feel for things again, you know what I mean, get back in the groove of shit. So because of that, it's less about the technique and heavyweight and all these other things, and more about just like getting back into the swing of things, getting back into benching, all that shit, you know. So it's just like rep work, you know what I mean? Rep work with some light to decently heavy weight, and it's gonna be like that for this week and next week as well, which is why today it's just a lot of rep work, literally the same thing as we did yesterday. Actually, it will be a little bit different because we fucked up the weight yesterday, so today we'll do it right. But starting off with the 230 pounds for a set of 10. I feel like one thing that's really improved for me is my fucking bar path. Let me tell you what, you know, like I used to never be able to just do speed reps without just like completely misgrooving on every single fucking rep and having my bar path be all over the place. But like just that there, I was like a consistent bar path the whole time. And I mean, really just kind of dialing in with just like having everything tight the way it needs to be when we bench, you know, which kind of just causes us to have that consistent movement in bar path as well, you know? I think one thing I really, if I had to choose to dial in with when it comes to bench, would be just the tucking of the elbows without overly tucking them. It was a cue that I was working on last block, but can still see needs some work. And that's the cue of just like pulling the elbows like into the armpits, you know? So I'm still kind of working on that and trying to prevent my elbows, like when I go down, my elbows flaring as I go up, causing my delts to take an unnecessary amount of load and making it harder, which would explain why my lockouts at times are rough. Like every single attempt we had at 500 pounds, it just really came down to that lockout. You know what I mean? And I feel like if we had that nailed, we would have hit that shit. Also the other confidence stuff as well, but I'm just saying, if we had that nailed, we would have been able to get away with having that confidence issue and still hitting the weight, if you know what I mean. But we're now gonna get on the next weight and hit that up for another set of 10. Dude, I've been working on, what I was doing just now is like, kind of like thinking of my eyes as lens and just like looking straight and being able to just blur, like max blur. And then dialing it back to like normal vision, like controlling that. Cause there's this one nigga that I see on social media who, I don't know what the fuck he's training for, but he's always doing weird shit. This dude trains his toes, his fucking fingers, his eyes. He's got some like dog paw shit that he pits on his hands, trying to move like Spider-Man or the grippy niggas in Baki. And he was saying that like if you want to be able to see like clear underwater or clearer, there's like this like muscle in your eye or whatever that you can control. And that's kind of how you practice it, you know, you train it. So I've been training that to see if it's actually legit. It's kind of like a side mission on top of the 500-pound bench, if you will. And I have till summer when we start going to pools and beaches and shit like that to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? I would have, like, if it actually does work, that would have been sick to master that during the competitive swimming days, imagine just showing up, fucking cap, no goggles. Dude beside you asks, why the hell aren't you wearing goggles? And you just look at him and you're like, don't need them. And then you just fucking smoke them. Sounds really corny, but I think back when I did competitive swimming in like high school, that would have been pretty fucking dope. All right. If I remember correctly from yesterday, the back half is where it starts to get a little bit tough. And now going up to 340 pounds for a set of 8, you know? And I think it's gonna be a little bit tougher as well, just because like we just did this shit yesterday, so there's more added fatigue. As I said, this back half is where things get a little bit tough. So, you know, we're gonna get serious. Yes, that means removing the pump cover and feeling and be able to manipulate the energy surge that we get from it to our advantage. I don't know. I don't really feel too different. I feel like there it is. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 340 pounds for 8. I thought things were supposed to get tough. That was a joke. Now we go up to 355 pounds for the last set of 6. Hopefully this shit moves just as good as the fucking, what's it called? The last weight. Good day. Somehow everything felt better than it did yesterday. You know what I mean? So I'll take that as a solid W for the first week of the revenge on 500. We gotta come up with a more creative name for it. So revenge arc is too basic. Revenge on the 500 is kind of like, I don't know. I kind of fuck with that. It gives kind of like Goosebumps title. I'll figure it out. Until next week.